Hi, friends, and welcome de Talking with Famous People. My name is Justo Enrico. I'm the host de Talking de Famous de People place. And I'm going to pop out this chat right now, switching from top chat to live chat. I don't know if you are aware, but in Soviet Russia, computer live streams you. So everybody knows what a special occasion it is when I'm live streaming outside. That means something wild's going on, something crazy, something really, really worth watching. I'm live streaming outside right now because my dad went off for a night on vacation, a getaway kind of a thing. So I'm in charge of Mom. Thought I'd live stream up here near her. She's in the kitchen, which is just on the other side of this door, basically. Got the door closed at the moment because I'm smoking, but I'll open it periodically and peek in on her and such. She's fine. She's just eating breakfast, playing with some papers as she normally does. So, anyway, you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, complaints, queries, quandaries, quinellas, QWERTY keyboards, Quicken, spreadsheets, anything of the sort you'd like to bring up or discuss, please do so. I'm not feeling especially inspired to pour insightful noticings onto the world by a chitter chatter at the moment. But hi, Hambone. Hi, hello there. You be you, Eric. Take it easy. Thanks. Hello there. I am being me. Being me means I was kind of bored. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I just started live streaming before I really thought a whole lot about it. I did have a plan this morning. I was like, I'm going to go get cigarettes, come back live stream. I followed through on that plan. It occurs to me that SE words are words like, all right, let's just get it over with. Or let's get it done. If we do it now, I won't have to do it later. That's like SE words. Boredom is necessary for creative inspiration. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of films and stuff with Rachel as well. Last night we were watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall. We didn't quite finish it, but we'll finish it today. I really enjoy watching movies, listening to music. Any kind of media consumption with Rachel is much more satisfying than it is consuming media by myself. We have the same sort of approach towards talking about it, I guess. And she's got such great taste, It's like everything that she suggests is good or says, like, here, I want you to see this. It always is good. It's very rare to... It's funny, hello there. It's just too sunny right here. Just too much goddamn sunlight. A man can only put up with so much sunlight before it's just too much sunlight, You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying. There are only so many sun rays that one can be directed at one's face. One can have directed one's face for when it says, enough, sun. Enough. I've had enough of you. Well, son, I've had enough of the sun, son. I'm going to move over here. Be done with the sun, son. Mom's fine. She's, like, really out of it this morning anyway. She's not even, like, engaging. So there's not really any great reason to. That's better. That's better. Christmas is closing in quickly. if you've not done your Christmas shopping, now's a good time. I haven't done any Christmas shopping. Rachel and I aren't exchanging gifts this year. And I do need to get something for my mom, something for my dad, something for Delilah. Oh, I know what I'm getting Delilah. I'm getting Delilah cash because she's going to go to Hawaii with me and Rachel in February with her boyfriend for 5 of the 7 days. And I'm going to chip in a little bit of money to help her pay for her boyfriend's plane ticket. We did go out and get a tree. We have a tree. No, I'm not going to get Santa a present. That would be silly. Santa needs to get me a present. Okay. I've been nice this year for once. Finally, I'm on the nice list. 47 years of being on the naughty list. Finally, I get to be on the nice list. I better get a present this year. You know, it's like every year I do something naughty, except this year. One year I made it almost till Christmas, and then like on Christmas Eve, I burned the house down. And there goes that Christmas. One year I made the whole year all the way through, almost till Christmas. Then like the day after Thanksgiving, I went on a killing spree. It's like, fuck, I blew it again. But this year, I'm confident I'm going to make the next few days without doing anything dramatically naughty. Let me see if I can find my coffee. I think I'll also get the bong. Sure, why not? Might as well. You know, I was just thinking that Pat Benatar song, Get Physical, it really should have a version that is for intuitives called Let's Get Metaphysical. Metaphysical, physical. I want to get metaphysical. Let's get metaphysical. Let me hear your mouth talk. Your mouth talk. Let me hear your mouth talk. That's funny. I amuse myself anyway. 5 people? Wow. I must be getting more entertaining by the moment. Boy, I tell you, it's hard to generate a big audience for a live stream when you're not really talking about anything. It's one of the challenges I face. It's just like, Eric, you know, maybe you should try making more content. Well, Hambone, you're a lot like me, Hambone. You know that? A lot like me. You and I think a lot alike. Make similar jokes, similar kind of jokes, you know? Similar attitude. Come to similar conclusions about things. I wonder if maybe secretly, deep down inside, you're an ENTP. You think you're an INTP, huh, Hambone? Mind blown. Mind blown. What do ENFPs and ENTPs relate to? What do we relate to? Our relatives? What do we relate to? I'm not sure. Can you narrow that question a bit? It's a little too broad for me to do much with. Right now, also my mind is still being blown by Hambone's observation that maybe Hambone is me. Violating the law of non-contradiction. Minute by minute, violating it harder and harder. Faster and harder. Until finally, it explodes into a rapturous explosion of explodings. Maybe that's what's happening. So who's got plans for the upcoming rapture? Are you planning on going or staying? And if you are going to stay, whose stuff are you going to steal? Once everybody else is gone for the rapture, who's got dibs on local Christian stuff when they leave for the rapture? I had the same response to my own phrasing, huh? What topics they mutually enjoy discussing? I see. Well, I mean, I think they enjoy riffing off each other. Like ENFPs and ENTPs can make a series of jokes. You know, having just watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that guy in that movie, Russell Brand, I believe his name is definitely an ENFP and plays an ESFP in the movie. And that's often what his humor is. It's him as an ENFP pretending to be an ESFP. But he has the same capacity as the ENTP to caricature the self as something less than it is and present for humor. So, like, of course, the odd thing is he's very much like the characters he's making fun of. He's got an equivalently mindless kind of political meh. You know? Like, he doesn't really engage his ideas politically. Anyone, the character in the movie that he's making fun of does. Infant Sorrow is the band's name. Infant Sorrow. Hell yeah, that's the Christmas tree I was talking about. That seems rather out of context. Raptors changed to the rapture? Jesus dinosaurs. The church is evolving, putting terror into pterodactyls. Free song lyrics. Go, go, go. Get that acoustic out. I'm not feeling that motivated at the moment. Hello there. You see, I'm not on any speed today. Yeah, I know. It's sad. I'm sad about it too. We're both sad. I guess I could hook someone up if I really wanted to, but I'll probably just chill out. You know, we had, like yesterday, day before, I took 20 milligrams each day. It wasn't hardly anything. You know, it's like just kind of, it makes me a little bit more dewy than I'd otherwise be. Today I got 0 amphetamines in me, but I did get a good night's sleep. Rachel slept fitfully. I think she's experiencing a little bit of premenstrual fussiness, you might say, which is, of course, exactly what she ought to be experiencing because she's impossibly perfect in every way. So I wouldn't wish she weren't experiencing premenstrual fussiness, but I do think that perhaps it is the case that certain times of the month, her perfection manifests in a moister way and perhaps a slightly less rational way than other moments of the month. And that's exactly as it should be, of course. So, look, life really is incomplete without a little bit of shed uteral lining in the mix. Hey, is that some uteral lining in your blood? Is one of the most romantic things a man can say to a woman. Ooh, vaginal blood sploosh splash party. Let's go, everybody. It's a vaginal blood sploosh splash party, splooshing splashing around. Vaginal blood sploosh splash party, everybody's in town. It's a vaginal blood sploosh splash party, everybody jump in. It's a vaginal blood sploosh splash party, let the fun begin. What? Not include periods? How do you find out your subscribers? I want to know who followed my consent. I don't know. You look on your channel stuff and be like, how many whatevers, and it'll tell you. It's just like that. You just need to just pay attention a little bit more, because right now you're not really listening, and that's why you're so confused. Blood, sweat, and tears, they say. Okay, so what I would like to have happen, please, is to have all of the females in the Talking with Famous People community align their menstrual periods with Rachel's, my Rachel's, you know. So that'll show them, Hambone. That'll show them. And then that way we can all get that all out of the way at the same time for everybody. Pretty good idea. Pretty good idea. Eric's coming up with some good ideas today, and y'all are the beneficiaries of my good ideaing. How old am I? I'm 48 years old. 48 years old. 48 years old. I'm 48 years old. How old are you, David Sanderson? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm 48 years old in years. in growth and development and maturity, I'm about, I don't know, 24. Seems about right. So, you're in Los Angeles as well, says hello there. You're not 4 years old. I think you've been around for 4 years. What was your favorite decade or age? The 40s and right now. It's as good as it's ever been. Shit's fucking, it's, as the young people say, it's a dank meme that's off the chain and smashing while rolling in the Rari 24/7. There. See how young I am? I don't deserve nor want to date a 24-year-old. I deserve and want to date Rachel and marry her. You know, I'm gonna marry Rachel with my marrying bone. I'm gonna marry her so hard. I'm gonna marry her hard and fast. I'm gonna marry the shit out of that chick. That skirt. That dame. You know, people don't really refer to women as dames anymore. It's good morning. It's 10 and 19 in the AM. And I'm proposing that we begin referring to women as dames again. It's been too long. What happened to it? Why did people stop saying dame? Do you think it peculiar for 50-year-old blokes to date 18-year-old girls? Yes. I think it's inappropriate. But it's legal. You know, my opinions about it don't really matter. I did go outside. Jeebus timed out. Do you think it's peculiar for 50 blokes to date 18 girls? Now, that I don't think peculiar. I think that's probably how reality often works. Hambo coming out swinging. Hambo never had his wrench taken away, Jeebus. Ooh, Hambo got deleted by the Google moderated team. Wow, Google's on top of that shit, huh? You've been censored. You have. You got censored by Google. Wow. Google doesn't get it. We play a little rough and tumble around here. It's not a violation of the First Amendment. Google is not the government. They have no obligation to let us speak as we see fit in their platform. Woo! I mean, that's the problem with censorship. It doesn't it doesn't account for context. It doesn't account for the back and forth history of Jeebus and Hambone, and the fact that Jeebus is well equipped to handle that shit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be dishing it out all the time, you know. I'm afraid to say it now. You know, it's weird. Talk about a chilling effect. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, that is a little bit disturbing. I kind of want to make a video about it. I might make a video about it later. Well, Jeebus, I don't know what to tell you, dog. I'm not gonna say it. You can't type it in, obviously, or else. Yeah, I'll know who got your hand bone. Well, that's interesting. What do you think of cogito ergo sum? I don't know. What's cognitive ergo sum? I don't think they'll get me somehow. I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it, frankly. It's like, but now I can't even talk about it um, without running afoul of it necessarily. I got to use some sort of. Hmm. Well, I mean, what do I think about the axiom? I think therefore I am. I mean, it's predicated on the assumption that um, existence or thinking supervene upon one another in some fashion, uh, or potentially that they're epiphenomenal, so to speak. Yeah, Chris Chapman's got got the gist of it. Good job, Chris Chapman. The thing is, you could put anything. You know, Rachel actually has given the best answer to it. You could put anything where I think is, and you'll get the same response, the same amount of solidity to the argument. Obviously, if everything is if everything supervenes on existence, then anything instantiated establishes existence. It's not a very meaningful argument because it's tautological. It just says definitionally things supervene upon existence, therefore anything, therefore existence. But it's about consciousness and the existence of the self and identity. Well, but I mean, it tries to remove the fact that there's an agent with a locutionary frame who's talking about it in the first place. So, in other words, there's a reason why you're saying that. Are you saying it because you actually doubt your own existence and identity? I don't think so. Are you saying it because you need to establish your existence or identity for some purpose? No. You're just making an argument that these words, which reference some sort of instantiated thing that necessarily is necessarily requires ahead of time metadata. I don't know. Okay, so well, what about it though? The existence of consciousness and being able to reflect upon existence does necessarily proves existence. Why? How? I mean, the thing is, you're just saying the definition of existence contains within it these following things, which includes every instantiation that is. And this is the thing. In what's known as quantification theory, it's regular symbolic logic with two added rules, which is the instantiation. Wait, what is it? It's universal existentiality, and then there's is one of them that's instantiation. I have to look it up again. My memory's not that good, but I haven't done that in a while. But basically, it establishes the relationships between the words some and all and no and only. So regular conditional logic only includes all, no, and only as quantifiers. And then, of course, it includes all the statement connectives and, not, or, if then, if and only if. Okay, but Rachel, you're not hearing me. What is it exactly that you're trying to establish? You think you've established? What claim do you think is supported by this line of argumentation? Is it the fact that you exist? Is it that claim that is supported by this line of argumentation? My point would be the capacity to argue itself is conditional upon existence. That agency must exist because it's a ridiculous question. It's like the question of existentiality of the being or the identity of the self is an inconsequential one. It requires an individual agent to speculate on such a matter. Definitionally, inherently, obviously, you know. Thoughts on panpsychism? Point is, a lot of these philosophical questions are resolved by the fact that you can never remove from the equation the fact that there's a specific agent who's speculating, musing, writing, expressing, evaluating these questions, even though everybody's trying to evaluate these questions as though they were independent of any agent making any argumentation about them. The arguments existed independently of the agents making them. It doesn't mean that the arguments are won and lost without agents making the arguments. So that's part of the issue there. Panpsychism. I don't know what panpsychism is. The fart itself is as good as consciousness? No, I mean, of course not. There's obviously a hierarchy of complexity, and there's also an equivalency of, I guess you'd say, inherent value in every living creature, but there's also a differing value based on complexity and stuff like that. At least the human beings afford everything. You might call it speciesist or something, but it's reductive to go with either exclusively, to say that we are inherently different and better than, and to not acknowledge that there's an equivalent implicit value of an entity in, say, a cat or a dog, that it also experiences suffering and all that kind of stuff, But at the same time, it's also true that from a human's perspective, loss of life is more significant amongst humans than amongst other creatures. Now, the simulation notion is certainly a powerful idea, and I think there's a lot of good argumentation behind it. A lot of good reason to think that it's as good an explanation as any. Of course, it doesn't really resolve any fundamental questions about life, the universe, that kind of shit. But then any correct framing of this is going to acknowledge that on some level those questions are unanswerable, at least while one is alive. Now, what happens after death? Nobody knows. I mean, people speculate, but nobody knows. Nobody has actually been dead a long time, like more than a minute or two. Been dead for a few days. At least nobody that we can talk to about it. And come back to life and said, okay, look, this is what happened. Yes, the gates are there. No, they're not pearly. It's mother of pearl, actually. Yeah, I know. I mean, animals experience a great deal of complex existential experiences, depending on the level of complexity of the animal. It seems the best explanation. How's mom doing?
He's out of it, isn't he?
Yeah, she's really out of it today. Which kind of makes things a little bit easier because she's not really looking to engage at all.
She's playing with that thing.
Yeah.
The crochet thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between things that have agency and things that don't. So, I mean, we've got agents, we've got subjects, which are other agents in relation to us, or ourself acting as a subject. Hello, PP. And we've got objects, which are things that are not agents. So, I mean, there's definitely a difference between, you know, this, like this cigarette is an object that's undergoing force vector change. So it's like it's on fire, so it's burning. And it has agency in that regard. It generates smoke, but it's not a living agent, not a self-aware agent or a living agent at all. That's a funny idea. Mo says, reminds me of that Onion News skit where they teach a gorilla that she's going to die. Teaching a gorilla awareness of its own mortality is a hilarious idea for some reason. That must be an bipolar. Then, no, cigarettes are not alive. Yeah, so I want to go actually back to the question of a 50-year-old man dating 18-year-old woman. The thing is, you're not going to end up having a healthy relationship with that big of an age difference. It's just not really possible, I don't think. I mean, the young woman is not going to be a long-term relationship partner, because if you're 50 and she's 18, you know, well, I mean, they weren't asking about me and Rachel. They were asking about a 50-year-old dating an 18-year-old. Rachel's 34. Big difference. Okay, big difference. I mean, I may look a lot older than Rachel, but I'm not that much older than Rachel, and we interact as people of equivalent age, you know. Is there an age that's too young to get married? Anything below like 30, frankly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm 48. No. I mean, as far as I know, they weren't. I mean, if they were, they should have said 34 instead of 18. You're 82, Jeebus? I am shocked to hear that. I would never have guessed you're an 82-year-old man.
I am impressed with his technological skills.
Yeah, me too. You're the wisest? Okay, everybody, you hear? Jeebus is the wisest one around here. So we should all get up on that wisdom. Like it's going out of style. Get up on that wisdom. Logical skills. So what did I get for counting to 10, David Sanderson? Logic is subjective, mate? Oh, is it? Okay. So, you know, if I say all men are mortal, Porky is mortal, therefore Porky is a man, it's either valid or invalid depending on how you feel about it, right? Is that what you're saying, David Sanderson? Well, here's the good news, David Sanderson. The objectivity of logic and conditionality is so robust that it's created this platform through which you can express your insanely ignorant asinine notions. To quote our host, never in a million billion years. It's funny. Yeah. The notion that conditional logic is subjective is hilarious. I mean, it's like the very definition of what is objective. It's pretty chilly, huh?
I am anyway.
I'm getting a little bit of cold feet. Not about marrying you. Just
Aw.
actual cold feet because it's so cold and I only have flip-flops on. Dirty 30. Is that your name? Hello there. Is it your Christian name? Dirty 30? Would you like a bong rip, my sweet, precious, spectacular, wonderful, Wonder Bread's sandwich worth of Miracle Whip? Those are sort of adorable names I come up with for Rachel. Orange soda was invented by the Nazis? Nobody should drink it.
They've said that about other. At one point, I think they said Coca-Cola was invented by the Nazis too.
New Rachel, you're smarter than Eric. Her name's Other Rachel, okay? There's no truth, only interpretation. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that some things are objective and some things are subjective, right? Objective data is stuff we can all agree on because we can look at it together or independently of one another and draw independent conclusions about it. That makes data objective. We might still not agree about it. That's true. But the data is objective. Now, with conditional logic, it's even more objective than that. You see, if the conditional logic's wrong, computer code doesn't work. Yeah. So,
That's a good explanation of it.
is that truth or interpretation? That's reality. Home prize.
Thank God. Thank God for conditional logic sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I know. The thing is, there are plenty of people in the world who are just as smart or smarter than me. Plenty of them. The problem that everybody faces in dealing with me is that, for the most part, being smart in an external sense means winning arguments. Now, that's not actually being smart. That's being really good at winning arguments. You know? Jeeves. Sometimes you remind me of that time I had the runs in Cancun. Lots of poop coming out. Take that, Eric. I appreciate your take that, Eric, Rachel. Other Rachel. You know what I was thinking is a good expression? You and what army? Yeah. Whoever said that for the first time, wow, that was clever.
Right? That must have been a silence in the room moment.
All right, think about it. Like, these two guys are like throwing down at each other, you know, like, and what? And what?
Yeah.
and I'm gonna fuck your ass up, bro. And the other guy's just like, you and what army? And everybody in the room just like, oh, burn! He burned the shit out of you. But see, David Sanderson, if you say that I use a lot of metaphysical jargon and that your words are empty because you just describe concepts without relating to the concrete data, you would be wrong on multiple accounts. But you'd be right that sometimes I do an inadequate job of providing concrete examples of things. Most time I try to provide some concrete examples. It is a TI-friendly explanation I'm providing that's more suitable to TI users than it is to TE users. If you're a TE user, you're going to find it sometimes unnecessarily complicated. Heavy TI users want to know what the actual full explanation is. And so I try to provide it. But I'm not an INTP. I don't go crazy overboard like what's his name with Socionics Channel? What's that INTP's name with Socionics Channel?
I don't know.
Who's always like TIing the fuck out of everything. I forget what Ben Vasserlin. Ben Vasserlin. Yeah. Anyway, I use a lot of metaphysical jargon. So what would physical jargon be like? You know, like grunt and push and shove and what would it be if I were to use language that was more suitable for your taste, or less metaphysical? I mean, what I'm describing makes perfectly good sense. It holds up to both scrutiny on the logic, and it holds up against empirics. If we look at actual people and how they behave, if we evaluate the examples we have in our own life, if we're right about typing them. Now, obviously, it's a certain amount of uncertainty built into this whole process. There are multiple competing ideas to explain something that's definitely existent, but about which there's not a universal consensus about the explanation yet. I'm presenting that my explanation is correct. I can't empirically establish that at the moment, or don't want to, frankly. And the reason is because having the correct theory and being the person who empirically establishes that are different roles. For example, Einstein didn't empirically establish the theory of relativity. Future physicists did. I'm not in the establishing the empirics of shit business. I'm the ideator. You know, I do my job. Other people do that. If you want to establish the correctness of my position, you should go out and gather empirical data. If you want to dispute it, you should make good arguments. If you want to get your ass thrown about the room, you should come in here and do what you're doing. Use the monkey wrench on the strip bolt. That's physical jargon.
Mm-hmm. They're so cute. Oh, they weren't really playing.
Are they fighting?
No.
Reference empirical data rather than the definitions of your words. Okay, but you don't understand how things work at all. You got to operationalize terms, which means get them to be expressed in a modelable way, reduced to binaries in some sense. If you want to have a meaningful model of something, it's what it means to model something. What you're doing is saying the problem with the stand-up comedy routine is that it wasn't a dance. Well, you know, that's not a problem with the thing. It's not a bug, it's a feature. You know? So flail less poorly if you're gonna flail here. Home fries. Okay, Baguette. Who's Baguette? I'm not getting way too fired up. Play some snake jazz? Sure. Anyone else see a flash when it gets close to the camera? Yeah, periodically this thing goes kind of yeah for a
I
second.
noticed that too. It's the ghosts to get metaphysical on.
David is quote asterisk 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 censored by Google.
That's great.
That's fine.
Very clever. So does Google count as a viewer?
Good question. Well, now there's an INFJ question for you. So does Google count as a viewer? Obviously watching. Had a good boogie to some sweet sounds. Man, it's cold. I'm starting to get a little shivery.
The bowl.
Let's see. Let me pull this bong rip, and maybe some incredibly insightful wisdoms will come to mind. No, you can have your own frame, but then you have to make some sort of indication as to why your frame is preferable. If it's just preferable because of your own subjective reasons, then fine. Then don't enter the objective argumentational fray. Those things are fundamentally different forms, okay? You've got a choice. You can hold your own position regardless of what objectively is so, regardless of what the winning arguments are, or you can make argumentation that a given position like mine is wrong. But if you're going to make argumentation that a given position like mine is wrong, then acknowledge that you're going to lose that argument if you choose to not make arguments that are convincing. That's just how it goes. You don't have to make arguments, but if you choose to, and others engage you on those arguments, then if you want to continue to argue and win, you're going to need to actually make good arguments. You've not done so yet. So I don't know exactly what it is you're doing. What's your point? That I lose under your subjective frame? Sure, of course. That's just your random whim and opinion. So that's fine. You can arbitrarily decide whatever you want for yourself. If you come out here and express it and tell other people this is a preferable position in some sense, you assert something, affirm or negate something, then you are choosing to engage in argumentation. So if you can't do that, don't want to do that, that's fine. Then don't do that. If you do want to do that and accept the fact that you lose those arguments, that you don't sound like you know what you're talking about at all, and that, you know, the assertions you're making are basically have been negated, or the negations you're making have been affirmed, then fine. But don't lament that reality then, right? You've chosen that reality. Own your choices. So, oh, Hambone, you're so funny. All right, I guess I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. Thank you, friends, for being here. I've enjoyed your company. Thank you, David Sanderson, for being the foil. People keep trying. Well, that's that would be interesting. All right, have a good day. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Peace.